What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And have you ever seen someone who had a glorious time frame in their life and then all of a sudden they become washed up and they don't know when to quit? They keep going on and on like it's the days of old. Like an old washed up boxer who just won't retire. They stand just a little too long and they start getting beat every time. I mean, it looks pitiful. You don't even want to watch it anymore. You're like, stop. Just go sit down. It's over. You're past your prime. Go have a seat. Or an actor who maybe was a hunk back in the 70s and the 80s. Then they start getting old. And instead of aging gracefully, they start injecting all kind of bubble gum in their face, swelling their lips up and stuff. And it's starting to look like this, the constant smile, the Joker face, like, wait until they get a load of me. Yeah, they look more ridiculous than they did back in the day where they thought, when they was hot, like Burt Reynolds. Burt was the man during the 70s. He had a little taco meat on the chest. That was back in the day when women liked the taco meat on the chest. He had the taco meat. He was all over the magazines, rated one of the sexiest men alive. Then he started getting old and couldn't cope. In his mind, he was still Burt of the 70s. But in reality, he was like Burt and Ernie, And so he should have just went ahead and said, I'm going out gracefully. But no. Inject, all of that stuff. Don't know when to quit. Old football player, don't want to retire, out there stinking it up, running around stomach first. And you're like, dude, just retire, okay? Have a seat. It's over. Don't tarnish the rest of your legacy. That's how I feel right now about the liberal media and the Democrats. They will not punt the ball. Look, man, it's 4th down and 20 yards to go. You're not getting the first down. Punt the ball away. Okay, just punt it away. They won't pull the parachute on this Russia collusion thing. Airplane going down, mayday, Roger, we're going down fast. We might want to eject. And no, the Democrats say, no, hang in there. We might be able to pull up at the last second. See, they're going to go ahead and smack the ground. That's what's going to happen. They need to go ahead and say, I'm done. If I was a Democrat politician, I would say, you know what? It's probably not a good look to have us going above and beyond to make it look like a sitting president was a Russian agent. Once the Mueller report came out and said no collusion, then that should have been it. But no, they can't let it go because they invested and they look stupid. And it's revealed to everybody with some common sense that they were part of this whole thing anyway. They all knew that there was no Russia collusion. I think what they was hoping to do is, let me get back in focus here. There we go. I'm thinking what they were hoping to do was get enough momentum out of this, ride it out long enough to where the president just say, man, I'm done with this and tap out. Today, I saw the president commenting on this whole debacle with Benjamin Yahoo. I mean, not Yahoo, Netanyahu. He's talking about this, and you can see the breaking heart that he had when he was like, you know what? This should have never happened to me. This should have never happened to another president again. It should never happen to another. He said most presidents or anybody going through what he just had to go through, it would have broke him. Somebody, I believe God, put some steel in President Trump's back, because when you look at the vicious daily attacks by the media, by the Democrats, I mean, that's enough to drive you crazy. On top of North Korea, on top of the economy, on top of Syria, on top of dealing with ISIS, on top of dealing with all these major issues, you got people in your own country gunning for you. And yet they still will not tap out. Right now, they could get on board with the president. If I was them, instead of trying to piggyback and mutate from one issue to another, I would say, you know what? Let's not poke the bear. He's been found not guilty. We don't want this to turn into now a real investigation into our involvement, the DNC's involvement, the top people in the FBI's involvement, Hillary Clinton's involvement, former President Barack Obama's involvement, all of these other factors that we all know played a part in creating this whole narrative. I wouldn't want them to even start looking that way. I would say, hey guys, let's tap out before he breaks it. So now you're going to have a situation where, like Lindsey Graham said, okay, now it's time to turn the tables. It's time to go ahead and start looking into how this thing was put together, okay? Yeah, like Tony Montana said, who put this thing together, man? Me, that's all, okay? Who I trust. See, these are practical questions that everybody should have. See, I think like this, and see, anybody with some logic, there we go. Anybody with some logic should say to themselves, so, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Page, Rice, Lynch, all of these highly intelligent people that was in the government during the time where the so-called Russia interference and collusion took place. You mean to tell me they didn't catch it? They didn't detect it? You mean to tell me that these high intelligent people could not figure out within 5 minutes that President Trump did not collude with the Russians? You got the NSA, you got the CIA, you got the FBI who monitors all calls going across seas, all of that stuff. You know they ain't gonna let no Russians have a conversation with Trump or anybody in his campaign without recording it. So my point is, if I could solve this whole issue in about 10 minutes by looking at the obvious evidence, why couldn't they? So that must mean that they put it together. You cannot tell me that an investigation like this just dropped out of the sky. And yet these intelligent officers did not say, that sounds ridiculous. We know enough about Russia to know that if they wanted to put a plant or a spy inside of our government, it wouldn't be the president. It would be somebody that's involved in some type of, technical stuff or infrastructure, or, it would be something dealing with weapons. They would want somebody in there that could really destroy our whole infrastructure or something like that, or bring down our network. But the president, no. I mean, when did President Trump ever have time to consult with Vladimir Putin? Unbelievable. I heard somebody make another practical statement that doesn't make sense, but the liberals try to make sense out of it, even though it's nonsense. They run around and say President Trump didn't want to become president anyway. He was just doing it for his popularity in a TV show later. But yet at the same time, President Trump colluded with Vladimir Putin to become president. That's an oxymoron. How could you not want to be the president and want to be the president at the same time? Stuff like that don't make sense. And now you got the Democrats hanging on to a little thread, a little bit of life in the liberal media, because Robert Mueller, I'm sure, I'm not going to give this guy any praise. No. He just simply knew that there was nothing he can do. I mean, trust me, I guarantee you, if he could have found anything that would suggest collusion, he would have dropped it out there. He was reaching. This man was going after all kind of people that had nothing to do with this, ruining lives, just hoping to flip somebody and get just a smidge of evidence that he could throw out there. And so since he didn't find that, he had no other option but to just say, man, I looked, I couldn't find nothing. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave it out there in the mind of the people and in the media and in the Democratic Party. Maybe, though, I'm just saying, maybe there was some type of, obstruction of justice. I didn't exonerate him. I ain't say he did it, but I'm not saying he didn't. That is a garbage move, because now that leaves more speculation. And instead of the Democrats thinking logically and practically, or the liberal media, right now, if I was the liberal media, I'd be like, look, I know we love the Democrat Party, but we going to ruin our whole company if we try to hang on to that stupid narrative. How about we just go ahead and ease over to the other team, because we now see the current is going in another direction, okay? No, we can't. Listen, I like the Democrats too, but there's a time where you got to cut your ties, okay? This ain't no ride and die situation. Now they going to all go down. We don't want to go down with them. So now let's go ahead and, form an alliance over here. Like, we was always with President Trump on this situation, because what's going to happen is, once people start saying, well, wait, what are you talking about, obstruction of justice, when there was no crime committed? And then please tell me, how did he obstruct justice? You mean by firing one person, a crooked cop, James Comey, that had nothing to do with the investigation being halted? In fact, it prompted another investigation, which had no bounds, no restrictions, nothing. Unlimited money, unlimited time, unlimited resources, went all over the place, spent all that money, all these subpoenas, all these indictments, only to come up with nothing. So now you got Jerry Nadler with the one eyebrow way up here, still out there talking reckless. Did you see his press conference yesterday? He was out there in the middle of the New York Square, I guess. I don't know where he was at. He's talking, yeah, we need to find out more about this. And some hecklers walked past like, Democrats suck. And it just rattled him. He couldn't even recover. We're going to do more who was that guy? I can't believe it. Anyway, we're back to, what was I saying again? Yeah, he knows that we now look like complete that's what they look like. And to continue to try to do it, they now become that boxer that don't know when to quit. Now they become that actor who is just hanging on to the old glory days, and they won't let it go. They look worse now. I'm trying to get my cheekbones up. No, it's time to shut it down. All right, go somewhere and sit down, be quiet, and maybe the heat might blow over on how much their people was involved in this mess. But no, they're going to keep poking the bear until the bear wakes up and slaps him across the face with the paw. I'm glad because they need it. See, and now that this whole Russia collusion stuff is being put to bed concerning the president, he can now go on the offense. Lindsey Graham talked about, I'm going to put my foot in some people's tail. I hope he do, and there was a couple other people who was talking about going on the offense, and there's a lot of buzz in the air. Everybody's saying, now, wait a minute, how did this investigation come about? Investigations just don't fall out of the sky. You're telling me our intelligence, our FBI, all of them, you're telling me that they would be so reckless and so unprofessional and so ignorant to say, based on these flimsy accusations, we feel we need to now go and investigate a incoming president on some collusion or some type of espionage charges. What evidence do you have that would make us feel like we need to go that route? Now, if I am over the FBI, CIA, any of that, and somebody come to me and say, hey, Mr. Kevin, we got some information that maybe we need to look into, and they give me the flimsy information that the FBI had to start an investigation against Trump, please tell me, what information do you have? Well, we were watching one of his rallies, and he got up there jokingly, and he said, hey, Rush, if you're out there, if you could find those 30,000 emails, then, we'd like to see them. And the crowd busted out laughing. And I said to myself, you know what? That was like an open call to Vladimir Putin about collusion. And so I said, we got to look into this. We got to now go ahead and get a FISA warrant. We got to tap some of his campaign members, even though they're so low on the totem pole that they would never be involved in a conspiracy like this either. I mean, you got your high intelligent Russian operatives, and they say to themselves, the way we're going to penetrate the Trump campaign is we're going to go after George Papadopoulos. Yeah, we're going to go after him and Carter Page, the two guys that probably never even talked to the president, but we're going to go after them, and then we'll work all the way up to the president. Yeah, I would be sitting there going, how did you get into the FBI? Yeah, you must have been here before I got here because I didn't hire you. You're coming to me with this garbage and you're going to embarrass me and the whole organization. So get out of my face until you can come back with something more substantial. But they didn't have anything. So that must mean they created it. Now, I can't wait to see when the whole ship starting to turn around. It was a slow turn. It was like an ocean liner. It wasn't going to be no race car, just turn right around. It's a slow turn, but now it's starting to turn around. And if I was the Dems, I would be looking, how can I pull the parachute and come out of this looking like I did not commit 2 years of accusing our president of being a traitor, a Russian agent, a lapdog of Vladimir Putin, all of this time and resources. I don't want to look stupid like the rest of the Democrats that's going to go down with the whole ship. I would be jumping off like it was a Titanic right now. I would be in the boat pushing women and kids out of the way. Get out. I'm getting on this boat. Let's go. Shoot. Ain't going to leave me on the boat, but nonetheless, that's what they're doing. They're going to go down with the ship. They're that crew that was in the Titanic. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure playing with you. No. That's not me. They will look over and the guitar player will be gone. They'll be like, gentlemen, where did Kevin go? Be on the boat going down like, So anyway, but they're not going to take my advice, which is good. Anyway, find me every Wednesday night, 7:30 live in Kevin's Corner. On YouTube, and also my radio blog talk show. Don't forget to check out Extreme Tees, my sponsor. Links in the bottom. And when you look at their clothes, if you like something, put my name right in the promo code Kevin. You'll get a 20% discount. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. And finally, if you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's a link in the bottom to do that as well. And find me on Facebook and Twitter. Yep. All right. God bless you. See you next time in Kevin's Corner.